the journey begins.
What's up, y'all? Bunny Chav here with the new project. That's right, I'm going to be playing through Pokemon FireRed. One of my personal favorite Pokemon games because of how much I played through it as a kid, and it just holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I do want to mention to those who aren't familiar with Pokemon games that this is not the original Pokemon games, not the original Generation 1 Red, Blue, and Yellow, Green games. Now, this is a remake of Red and Blue, or I should say Red and Green, because it's Fire Red and Leaf Green. So, what's a generation, you might be asking? Well, a Pokemon generation is referred to as a group of Pokemon games that contain newer Pokemon not found in previous games set in newer areas. So, Red, Blue, Yellow, Green, Generation 1, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Generation 2, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and Fire Red and Leaf Green, Generation 3, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, Generation 4, and Black and White 2, Generation 5, X and Y, Generation 6, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, Gen 7, Sword Shield, Gen 8, and finally, Scarlet and Violet with Gen 9 at this time. So, yeah, this is a Generation 3 game, technically, because it uses a lot of Generation 3 mechanics, so stuff that you'd find in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And graphics, too. So, if you're used to the original games, this is going to be quite different. But the reason why I picked this is because this one holds more nostalgia, more meaning to me than the original games. I mean, I like the original games for how quirky they are and how janky they are. I just don't have as deep of a connection as I do with these. So this is the Professor Oak, and he's basically just telling us about Pokemon. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Excuse me. Are you a boy or are you a girl? This was not in the original games. You could only pick boy. What's her name? I'm gonna reveal my actual name, and that is Riley. No, I am sure I am not a girl, no matter how many people say that I am. Yes. My grandson? He's our rival. Let's see. Now you could name him like a bunch of like funny names, like a lot of people do. Asshat, douchebag, dickhead, stuff like that. But we're gonna go with my personal favorite canon name, Gary. Technically, he's green in the Japanese version, and non-anime, he's also known as Blue. So, and technically, this trainer right here we're playing as, the male trainer, is named Red, and sometimes the woman, I think, is also referred to as Green, at least here in America. I think she's also referred to as Leaf in Japan. I might be wrong on that. So yeah, here we are in our bedroom with our nice NES and TV. Before we do anything, let's go mess with the options. Text speed here. We'll change how fast those text speeds are. We can go slow, medium, or fast. Always go with fast. Battle scene, that basically means what animations will be showed. Do we want that turned on or off? We obviously want that on, unless you're grinding, you want to turn that off, or speedrunning. Battle style, shift or set, basically refers to if a opponent has another Pokemon that he or she will send out. It'll give you an option. Do you want to send out your Pokemon? Yes or no. That's what shift is. Set gets rid of that option. We're gonna play in shift. Sound stuff. Frame. This just changes the text box frame. Let's go with let's be a little quirky. Let's go with the one that looks like the original games. Okay. Open up her PC, and like tradition with most Pokemon games, I say most because this is not in all of them, only in like a select few, your little personal computer here in your bedroom will have a potion that heals 20 HP to your Pokemon, but we don't have any Pokemon right now, so that's pretty useless to us at the moment. Go talk to our mom. Right, all boys leave home someday. It said so on TV. Oh yes, Professor Oak next door was looking for you. So that's our first objective. Let's go see Oak. Oh. Let's go see our neighbor here. Hi, Riley. My brother Gary's out at Grandpa's lab. Okay. So that's Gary's sister. Yeah, fuck it. Hey, wait! Don't go out! It's unsafe. Wild Pokemon live in tall grass. You need your own Pokemon for your own protection. I know. Here, come with me. If you went straight to the lab, there'd be no one there except for the rival and the scientists around there, or professor's aides. Gramps, I'm fed up with waiting. Gary? Let me think. Oh, that's right. I told you to come. Just wait. Here, Riley. There are 3 Pokemon here. Haha. The Pokemon are held inside these Pokeballs. When I was young, I was a serious Pokemon trainer. But now in my old age, I have only these 3 left. You can have one. Go on, choose. Hey, Gramps, no fair. What about me? Be patient, Gary. You can have one too. Alright. So we're going to pick her starter Pokemon, but first, I want to go over quickly what's up with these starter Pokemon. What they're like, and just some things about them. So, let's start off with the one on the far left.
Bulbasaur! Bulbasaur!
Bulbasaur! Bulbasaur is a grass poison type. He acts like a support Pokemon. He inflicts a bunch of status conditions, such as sleep, paralysis, and poison. But they can have some offensive capabilities. He's well-rounded in stats, and his move pool is pretty limited. But, overall, it's actually the easy mode of the game. I see, Bulbasaur's your choice. It's very easy to raise. So, Riley, you want to go with Bulbasaur? No. Let's go with the middle one.
Squirtle!
Squirtle is a pure water type through and through, so if he evolves, he'll still be a water type. It is the defensive choice, highest stats being both of his defenses, physical defense and special defense. He's also a bit of a mixed attacker, but not quite as strong as Bulbasaur. It's also the slowest of the 3 starters you pick, so it's kind of the middle road choice in terms of difficulty. You want to choose Squirtle? No. And finally, everyone's favorite, even Game Freak's, Charmander. Charmander's a pure fire type at the moment, until he fully evolves and becomes fire flying. He's a fast mixed attacker, meaning he can dish good damage using physical and special moves, but he does lean more towards special attacks. He's also the fastest of the 3 starters, and overall, he's the hard mode of the game. So, those are our 3 starter Pokemon. Well, what one am I going to be picking? Well, normally when I play this game, I always choose Bulbasaur, because he's my personal favorite of the 3, and I like his typing. But there are 2 here that I haven't used, or at least I have used but never really completed the game and haven't used much of. Squirtle and Charmander. Squirtle I kind of used, and I thought it was pretty fun for a little bit, but I used them as a kid, and I got stuck pretty easily. So I didn't get very far. Charmander, though, I actually made it quite far with. But I'm going to go with one that I don't normally pick. And I feel like would be a really fun challenge for me. So, who's it going to be? This one. Yep, I'm choosing Charmander. Really energetic. We received the Charmander. Do you want to give Charmander a nickname? Okay, so a funny thing I like to do is I've named my Bulbasaurs Charles. Well, most of the time they've been male, so it's kind of made sense. Charlie if it was a female. Come on. No, yeah, so Charles for Bulbasaur. I've always named my Squirtles Cooper because of the Paper Mario character and because I like the name. But, I never had a nickname for Charmander. And now might be the time to christen it, bless it with a name of its own. Hey Lois, I'm a Pokemon now. Oh, that's a bad Peter Griffin voice. Yeah, it's Peter. Actually not because of Family Guy. Actually, because I think it'd be really funny to name this little lizard that will become a dragon. Spoilers. Something basic as Peter. If a wild Pokemon appears, your Pokemon can battle it. With it at your side, you should be able to reach the next town. So, let's go see our little Charmander. Level 5. Old nature, okay. I'll get into what natures do a little while because, I mean, they're kind of important, at least in this game, because, Generation 3, and that's when natures were introduced, but it's not as important right now. So let's go over the stats here. What are these numbers? What do they mean? Well, HP is how much health you have. Attack is how much damage your physical attacks do, like scratching, punching, well, some punches. I'll get into that a little later. Defense is how well you take damage from physical attacks. Special attack is how much damage your special attacks do. A lot of times they're lasers and beams. Not all the time. Special defense is how well you take damage from your special attacks. Not from yours, but from special attacks in general, my bad. And speed determines how fast you are in battle. Whether or not you'll be going first in battle often. And there's also a thing called a speed tie, which you and the opponent will have the same speed. So a coin flip determines who goes first. Also, speed determines how if you're able to run away from wild Pokemon frequently. Also, Generation 1 had this thing with the speed stat, which determined how often you landed your critical hits, which we'll get into when we see what critical hits are. And then after Generation 1, critical hits became more random. Also in Generation 1, the special attack and special defense were one stat known as special, which functioned as both special attack and special defense. But in Generation 2, this was split in two. So this really benefited and nerfed a lot of Pokemon. Charmander and the Charmander family got a buff to it, because their special stats really didn't give too much special offense until now, where his special attack was base special attack stat, which base stats are a whole thing. They just basically show what your Pokemon, how strong your Pokemon will be when you're using them. So his special attack stat is actually, his base special attack stat is quite high, higher than it was in Generation 1. And he just used this special stat as a special defense stat. So that's enough blabbering. Hey, Riley, let's check out our Pokemon. Come on, I'll take you on. Rival Gary would like to battle. So our first rival battle here, and he sends out a Squirtle. Oh, for Pete's sake. So pushy as always. Riley, you've never had a Pokemon battle before, have you? A Pokemon battle is when trainers put their Pokemon against each other. Also known as animal cruelty. The trainer that makes the other trainer's Pokemon faint by lowering their HP to 0 wins. Rather than talking about it, you'll learn more from experience. Try battling and see for yourself. So his Squirtle is going to know Tackle and Withdraw. Tackle being a 35 power move and with 95% accuracy. Again, I'll go over that in just a bit. So we're going to Scratch. Like the damage on the foe is the key to any battle. Withdraw is a move that will have him raise his defense, so he can raise his defense in this battle and make it really annoying for me to kill. Oh no, he doesn't have Withdraw, he has Tail Whip. Oh, okay, my bad. I'm thinking of I must be thinking of later. He gets Withdraw later. Okay, so Tail Whip lowers our defense by 1 stage, so his tackles will be doing more damage. I could Growl and kind of neutralize that in a way by lowering his attack stat by 1. But, we're almost done. And we didn't even need to use the potion. So I think the Charmander line is definitely has a harder chance because Squirtle's a lot more defensive out of the starter Pokemon when you face off against them in the rival battle. So, yeah, if you chose Bulbasaur, it'll have Tackle and Growl. Riley Gramps, smell you later. I love that line. I actually use that one in real life because it's really funny. So, we're gonna go head off on our own little journey, huh? So here on Route 1, we'll run into our first wild encounter. It's a Pidgey. Pidgeys are pretty much a standard flying type of this game. All your Pokemon generations or Pokemon games have a what's called Route 1 bird or early bird Pokemon, where it is a flying type in the beginning route. And they're generally either like kinda mid to pretty good. They get better over time though, so I'm gonna say if you want a Pidgey, don't. No, I can't, I'm not gonna say, like, that's a bad choice. I'm just saying, Pidgey's not that good, in my opinion. Its stats are mediocre, it really doesn't excel at anything. It's got nice bulk to it, but, like, it doesn't really excel at much. Talking to that guy, that Pokemart guy, will give you a free potion. It really doesn't excel much at anything. Oh, hey, Rattata. Rattatas are known as the early rodent or Route 1 rodent Pokemon because, again, same with the bird Pokemon, there's rodents on the early routes of each game. I'm going to kill this thing for experience. So, I'll talk about Rattata a little later. So, Pidgey, like I said, it's alright. I don't think it's a great early bird encounter. Like I said, stats are mid. Ooh, Ember. Stats are mid, and it just really doesn't excel much at anything. Except for bulk. I guess it has good bulk. What's weird is that back in Generation 1, it gets the move Gust. Gust in that game. So Gust normally is a flying type move. It's like base 40 damage, so it's kind of weak, but not too bad, especially for the early game. So it's a fairly good move to have on your Pidgey. However, in Generation 1, it was only a normal type move. And you didn't get a flying type move until level 36, I want to say, late 30s. Well, besides, there's one flying type move, but we'll get into that one later. Yeah, you didn't get that, an actual good flying type move to use until Wing Attack in the late 30s. And normally, Wing Attack is quite a respectable move, especially at least in mid-game, maybe a little late game. It's got base 60 damage, and it's quite a decent flying type move. However, in that game, it was base 30 flying type move, so it was really weak. So you're getting this, pretty much should have a fully evolved Pidgey, and it has a very pitiful flying type move compared to the other two normal flying types you'd find in this game.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Charmander.
So we're gonna head back. Rattata. Most of your early rodents are known for how well they are in learning moves, especially HM moves, which are moves that you would learn to get past obstacles and stuff. Rattata is not one of those. Oh, I burned it. Okay, good. Rattata's not one of those. It doesn't learn as many. But it's not bad if you want it as a Pokemon itself. Like it's quite strong. You'll get pretty far using it in the early to mid game, especially since it fully evolves pretty early. So we got the Oak's Parasol, so we're gonna take this back to Professor Oak. Oh, Riley, how's my old Pokemon? Well, it seems to be growing more attached to you. You must be talented as a Pokemon trainer. What's that? You have something for me? We delivered Oak's Parasol. Parcel, not parasol. Oh, it's a Pokeball. I had it on order. Thank you. Gramps! I almost forgot. What did you call me for? Alright, I have a request for you two. On the desk there's my invention, the Pokédex. It automatically records data on Pokemon. It's a high-tech encyclopedia. Riley and Gary, take these with you. We received the Pokédex. You can't get detailed data on Pokemon just by seeing them. You must catch them to obtain complete data. So here are some tools for catching wild Pokemon. And we got 5 Pokeballs. When a wild Pokemon appears, it's fair game. Just throw a Pokeball at it and try to catch it. This won't always work, however. Healthy Pokemon can escape. You have to be lucky. To make a complete guide on all the Pokemon in the world, that was my dream. But I'm too old. I can't get the job done. So I want you to fulfill my dream for me. Get moving, you two. This is a great undertaking in Pokemon history. Alright, Gramps. Leave it all to me. Riley, I hate to say it, but you won't be necessary for this. I know. I'll borrow a town map from my sis. I'll tell her not to lend you one, Riley. Ha 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 ha. Don't bother coming around to my place after this. Alright. I'll take that challenge. Let's go and, well, if she won't give it to us, I guess we can steal it. You know? It's free. Grip asks you to run an RNG, then slice them here. This will help you. Hey, town map. That was easy. Alright, so I guess I could bullshit a little more. So when I mean, like, when I talk about attacks with, like, base damages or whatever, that has a damage of so-and-so. So that just basically means of, like, how much damage it would end up doing. Like, so, Scratch here, that I have my Charmander, is base 40 damage. So it's pretty solid move for this early game. It's kind of strong. Ember here, also 40 damage, but it deals fire-type damage. Accuracy, Scratch and Ember both have 100% accuracy, which means they won't miss unless my accuracy is lowered. Tackle here is 95% accuracy, meaning I'll miss like 5% of the time. So, I should talk about some funky things here about Scratch and Ember. Well, at least about types in general. So, what determines something that's physical damage, one special damage? Well, I'll tell you. In Generation 1 through 3, types decided on what's physical and what's special. So, all your fire type attacks, even if it seems like it should be physical, like Fire Punch, clearly sounds like a physical move, is actually a special move. So be using your special attack instead of your physical attacks then. Normal typing will deal physical moves, or physical damage. Even sometimes if it doesn't seem that way. This was fixed in Generation 4 where things that seem physical were physical, things that seem special were special, and it wasn't type dependent like it is. So, that's funky. I guess one more thing. So Charmander is the fire typing, and he learned a fire type move. He gets a thing called same type attack bonus, also known as stab, where he gets a 50% bonus, I think it's times 1.5 damage increase to using those fire type moves. So that's cool. I don't know the exact math on it, and I don't really want to go into it. There's also super effective damage, which we haven't seen quite yet, but basically that does ×2 damage. So my Ember would be doing 80 damage to something that's super effective. Then there's not very effective, which deals half. Sometimes if you have a dual typing, you can do 4 times damage to something. If both of those typings share the same weakness, and you can also do a quarter damage if those typings share the same resistance. And then there's just plain normal damage, which is just basic damage. Also, you saw my Charmander has the ability Blaze. That's something new to Generation 3. Generation 3 Pokemon games where Pokemon have certain abilities that can affect in and outside of battles. So out in the field and inside an actual battle. So Charmander has Blaze, and the other starter Pokemon have their own elemental version of Blaze. Basically what it means is that when Charmander reaches about a third HP, his fire type damage gets a boost. So that's cool, and Bulbasaur Squirtle have that too, but for their respective types. Water and grass. And it's Overgrow and Torrent. So that's cool. I think that's pretty much covers it until I discuss about natures and critical hits. Yeah, I got nothing else. But I do want to say before I end off this episode, there is something I want to catch. I want to at least catch one Pokemon. There she be, and it really is a she. Mankey! So I know I ran into a Mankey when I first entered the grass patch earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the discussion I was having. So Mankey is the Pokemon I want to catch here. And it is a Pokemon I want to add to my team. Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, it's not level 5 like the one I previously encountered, but that's okay. We'll take a level 4. That's just as good. 1, 2, 3, click. So basically what I showed there was that you want to lower your Pokemon's health as low as possible, which will increase the chances of catching it. Also, I guess what I get for chit-chatting. Do I want to nickname it? Yeah, sure, why not? Fuzzy Wuzz. I couldn't just kept it as Fuzzy Wuzzy and then not put a space there, but I think Fuzzy Wuzz is funnier. So, like I was saying with catching Pokemon, so you want to lower the HP as low as possible. It'll increase its chance of catching it when it's lower HP. You can inflict it with status conditions like paralysis, burn. Well, paralysis and burn will modify the catch rate a little more. But if you if you make it fall asleep, or if you freeze it, freeze is something we don't have access to at the moment, but if you freeze it, you'll increase the chance of catching it even more than the other status conditions. So that's cool. You can try to catch things at at full HP, but those are saved for Pokemon that have higher catch rates than something like Mankey, who has a little lower. Catch rates are basically a little number of something between 1 to 255. I don't think there's any that are 1. I think the lowest OB is like 3, so 255 out of 255 basically means it's a high enough catch rate where you can full health 1 Pokeball it. There's a good chance of doing that. And they can get lower and makes it harder. If it gets a lower catch rate, that means it's harder to catch. So that's cool. So yeah. What else? Do I have anything else? Not that I can think of with catching Pokemon. So good luck out there when you catch some Pokemon. It's all the way down here. Okay, I want to read this. So we're going to end this episode up with reading our Pokemon's Pokedex entries. Mankey, the pig monkey Pokemon. Light and agile on its feet and ferocious in temperament. When angered, it flies into an uncontrollable frenzy. And its foot looks like a stick. And then let's go all the way back up to Charmander. Charmander, the lizard Pokemon. From the time it is born, a flame burns at the tip of its tail. Its life would end if the flame were to go out. There you go. I think that concludes this episode of Pokemon Fire Red. So, if you guys like this, hit the like button, subscribe if you want, share it with some friends, whatever. Comment down below, and see you guys in the next episode. Good night, everybody.